What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title's going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Definitely wild. One thing about it before we, get into this video, I want to show y'all on how, wild and serious this is, when it comes down to a lot. This is obviously illegal aliens arrested. 88,000 arrested in Texas, 34,000 arrested in Florida. This is on average. 13,000 arrested in New York and 12,000 arrested in Georgia. Not a single riot. ICE isn't a problem. Minnesota is. And that it's clearly what. And the reason on why I put this in my video and why I wanted to start off by saying that, are for the individuals that comment, the individuals that comment and talk crazy and not. I want them to actually analyze. Just realize. I want people to realize the truth when it comes down to things. This picture alone just goes to show you a lot that has been going on. This is they're not picking and choosing when it comes down to it. Not picking and choosing. This is the same things, the same operations that they're doing elsewhere. Nothing else elsewhere. It's the simple fact that you have these individuals and the two main individuals, Fry and Walz, that are causing a lot of this mess to happen. Truly. Y'all see all the bad protest, all this stuff that's going on. It's not going on nowhere else. All you see is Minnesota. And yeah, you might have individuals protesting here and there, this, that, and the other. We've been seeing, individuals going to these schools and stuff like that. But trust and believe, or leaving out of the schools. These kids, we're going to get into that too. But it's just the simple fact of, they're causing all this mess to happen. This past month, and obviously, the last, but it's definitely been bad this past month. Definitely. This right here says Homan just, erupted in response to the left-wing media using children to protest ICE. It's definitely wild. Like I said, my pops even came over here. My pops came over here and, he mentioned, kids, we had talked about something, then the conversation got brought up, about kids, leaving out of schools. And I'm like, he was like, man, and I know you don't agree with protests, but I feel, and I explained to my dad why I felt it was bad. First of all, I feel like it was bad because I feel like a lot of individuals in these school systems and these kids in these schools, they're obviously not focused already. They're obviously not focused already, and they're not, and this is my opinion, I feel like they need to focus more into what's going on with school, to get them ready for the real world. Because there's a lot of kids that's not their main. You have a lot of kids, basically what I'm trying to say. You have a lot of kids that's leaving out of these schools and protesting because their friends are doing it, and they know nothing that's going on. And then I said that to my dad, and he said, well, they see that. They see stuff that's going on TikTok and this, that, and other. Yes, there are some kids, but there are a lot of other kids that's doing it for the wrong reasons. And again, me personally, I don't like protest. So I can't really give y'all a legit reason on why, these individuals are doing that, because honestly, it's not really doing nothing. Like I told my dad, I feel like there's other things that you can do to be heard. I truly feel, and it has nothing to do with yelling, screaming, and being violent. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Another thing, you have kids, they're bringing kids to these protests. I literally sat there and I seen a video of a little kid, a little girl, bro, no older than 11 or 12 years old, probably. And these federal agents had maced the crowd, and she was in there. It's not the agent's fault. It's the parents' fault. Why is your kid at a protest? Why is the kid that young at a protest? And then when it happens, they sit there and they blame the federal agents for it. That ain't how they go. And I don't agree with that. Check it out right here, Tom Homan.
Why don't you show the funeral of Rachel Morin? Why don't you listen to the 19 minutes of Laken Riley fighting for her life? Not that she was, murdered, that for 19 minutes she fought for every breath, fought to survive. How terrified these young women were to be raped and murdered. How about that? How about we educate these children on President Trump making this country safe again? How about we educate the children on the last administration? 500,000 children were smuggled in this country. They lost track of 300,000 of them. And President Trump found 145,000 of them. 145,000 children that the last administration wasn't even looking for. Why don't we talk about the 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl across that open border? Why don't we talk about the record number of known suspected terrorists across that border, or the historic increase in sex trafficking in women and children? Let's talk about that. President Trump's saving lives every day. The border is the most secure we have in the history of this nation. Less women are being raped. Less people are dying making that journey. And this country's safe again. Let's tell that story.
Exactly. I don't know if y'all don't know, but there are things that are coming down. Meaning there are things, and it's a lot of work that they obviously need to do, that they need to prioritize. But there are a lot of places that are decreasing in these crimes that have taken place, to these young women, to these young men, and to the adults we have in the United States. And I truly hate that, for them. I truly can't stand the simple fact that they sit here and they rather be hype and protest. And just hear me out. They get hype and protest for an individual that is acting a certain way, being violent, ready to hurt somebody, but they won't use that same energy, to share a video or like a video or, even acknowledge the young kids that lost their life to an illegal alien. That done this. I just truly don't get that. I truly don't get that. Truly don't get it. I'm telling y'all. Just like this, this says this superintendent of Duluth Public Schools says ICE is having massive negative effects on the students and teachers. Some schools districts are missing hundreds of students, which is pretty well.
Districts that are having hundreds and hundreds of students missing and districts that are seeing this type of tragedy unfolding day in and day out are really, really being impacted. This feels like another pandemic. It feels just as impactful. There's just as much planning. There's just as much work behind it. There's just as much caring and flexibility on the part of our educators. Yet at the same time, this isn't something that came from nature. This is man-made. This is a choice. And if we make other choices and bring protected status back to schools, at least that will take the heat down and provide opportunity for our students. Districts that are having hundreds and hundreds.
So let me tell y'all something. What I have a problem with this is that within these students, first of all, it just goes to show you on how many Somalians are in, Minnesota alone, because they're missing hundreds of students that are scared to go to school. Another thing is, that brings me back to another point. This isn't happening in other places. Only Minnesota. I'm telling y'all, the things that you truly see are absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And the crazy thing about it is that I cannot stand on how they're acting about ICE when you have, again, Obama. Barack Obama's ICE chief gets an award for 920,000 removals. Donald Trump's ICE chief gets called, NAZI. I don't want to say it on my channel because obviously don't want to get in trouble. Crazy thing is, when it comes, down to this ICE chief that I speak of Obama and Trump, it's the same person, Tom Homan. 2012, Obama deported 409,000 people. 2025, Trump deported 290,000 people. Just goes to show you on how brainwashed individuals are. Check it out.
Obama's ICE chief gets an award for 920,000 removals. Trump's ICE chief is called a Nazi. Same guy, Tom Homan, was in charge of it for Obama. Obama deported in 2012 409,000 people. Trump in 2025, 290. Wow. You got to do the math. It's so frustrating because, like you said, they've taken such an anti-Trump administration position that no matter what he does, even if it is in the name of good intentions, the problem is Minnesota is a sanctuary state. So because they're a sanctuary state, they do not cooperate with ICE. They can arrest somebody for a violent crime, have them in jail, and they release them on the street. And so ICE is forced to go get these people in the streets. Obama's ICE chief gets...
Tell y'all something. Show y'all right here. Here it is. 2015, Barack Obama awarded Tom Homan the Presidential Award for service for making America safer at ICE. 10 years later, liberals want Tom Homan unalived, which is definitely insane, right? It's the same Tom, but a different Democrat Party. Tom Homan has been doing his job for a while, as y'all can see, and he's not holding back, regardless, because he has a job to do. He's obviously doing an amazing job, as y'all can see, saying how Obama is right there putting the medal on his neck. I just truly don't get it. I promise y'all I don't get it. Tom Homan announces mass deportations are coming for everyone who is in America illegally, which y'all should know. One thing about it, people, again, are saying that, President Trump, he's only prioritizing, these individuals. Trust and believe. They're prioritizing everyone. Check it out.
That's just untrue. My message up there was the same message that's been since January 20th, when President Trump took the Oval Office. We're going to have a mass deportation, but we're going to prioritize the arrest of criminals and public safety threats. I'd said from day one, if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. I looked at the numbers just about 15 minutes ago, Sean. President Trump's been in office just over a year. We got over 700,000 deportations between the border between ICE. That's a record. I've been in D.C. about 15, 16 years. I've overseen more deportations than any other man since the Eisenhower administration. So if anybody thinks that Tom Homan and President Trump isn't serious about immigration enforcement and having a mass deportation, then they weren't paying attention to the press conference.
Exactly.
Prioritization is smart law enforcement. But if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table, and we'll find you too and deport you too.
Y'all heard it. One thing about it, people got to pay attention. And I know a lot of y'all are, but a lot of people got to pay attention. One thing about it, everyone. It goes for everyone. I'm telling y'all. Definitely goes for everyone. One thing about it, though, is that, you have these individuals that don't pay attention. Obviously, we've seen that Barack Obama is way more. But then it goes to show, like, it's almost like they have an excuse for every single little thing. I have an excuse for every single little thing. And it frustrates me. You say, oh, Barack Obama did this. Oh, well, they treated it this way. Oh, well, this got situated, though. What do you mean they come with it? It's never accountability when it comes to individuals on the left. I'm telling y'all. One thing about it, you got John Kennedy here, the amazing John Kennedy, on Tim Walz. And what he said definitely makes sense. Check it out.
Let me just say a couple of things quickly, Sean. Number one, Governor Tim Walz. Whatever he says, believe the opposite. I'm sorry, the man learned to lie before he learned to talk. He's just a. I
can't help it. You crack me up.
Well, he's just a less masculine version of Hillary Clinton.
Oh man!
Number two.
Did you go drinking before tonight? Did you have dinner before? Keep going.
No,
keep going.
I don't even drink. Let me just say a couple.
I don't even drink. He's just he's just being real. One thing about it, he don't hold back, and I absolutely love it. One thing about it. Another thing is, we talk about this fraud. I mean, we talk about, these ICE agents, and the protesters and, everything that's going on. But one thing about it is that I've always said that we don't want this to be swept up under the rug when it comes down to fraud. FBI Director Kaz Patel says Tim Walz is trying to sweep massive fraud under the rug, and they're not letting it happen, though. Check it out.
Well, thankfully, every state does not have this problem. I don't have another statistic to give you where we arrested 75 individuals in one summer for hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud related to a program that's supposed to feed malnourished children in underprivileged families. So I don't know what he's talking about. That's pushing it under the rug. And also, a fraud of this size, there should be state and local authorities alerting the FBI early on and participating in our investigation. We went up there and did it with the federal authorities and the DOJ. And we've continued to ask those in Minnesota and around the country of any information on this to let us know, because this investigation is not over. The size of the fraud continues to be exposed, and there will be more arrests coming.
One thing about it, don't be distracted. In other words, don't be distracted. Keep telling y'all, just like I said, in the last video, and y'all can, read this. But it's true, just like President Trump said, the theft and fraud in Minnesota is far greater than the, and $19 billion originally projected. The Biden administration knew about the fraud and they did nothing about it. They did nothing about it, and it's definitely sickening that they did nothing about it. And it just goes to show you, on how they work. It truly goes to show you on how they work. One thing about it, and I'll keep saying, when it comes down to these individuals, yeah, I definitely want to see them in a jail cell. But one thing about it, I know more than anything, and I know more, definitely got to see a deportation coming. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Sorry for the late uploads, y'all. I've had a day. Definitely had a day, but much love to everybody. Catch y'all next one.